Well, good day. This is basic word shortcut keys. Did you know that every single letter of the alphabet has a shortcut key associated with it when you use Microsoft Word? If you were to learn just one or two of these shortcut keys, it could make your work so much easier and so much faster. You'll have so much more confidence when you know how to do things quickly and easily in Microsoft Word by using just some basic word shortcut keys. Here's a document that's typed in single space. Maybe you want this thing to be double spaced, and you might do this. Just highlight your document from here down to the bottom, and if you wanted things to be double spaced, you could hold down the control and tap the 2. Now you have to use the 2 that's above the letters, not the 2 over here on the number pad, and poof, it'll be double spaced. If you want things to be space and a half, you could do control 5. They use space and a half a lot in legal documents. Or if you want to go back to single space, you can do control 1. Now if you wanted to do multiple paragraphs, you'd have to highlight multiple paragraphs. But if you wanted to do just one paragraph, you could just click in one paragraph and type control 2, control 5, or control 1 to change the line spacing. There are just a whole slew of control shortcut keys available to you. For instance, you could do control B to make a word bold, or even a string of words. If you highlight words and do control B, they'll turn them bold. If you want to turn the bold off, just do control B again. U for underline, or I for italics. You can control entire paragraphs with control L for left align. Control R will right align paragraphs. E for center, J for justify, and T for a hanging indent. You would use a hanging indent if it was like for a reference at the bottom of your document. You make references, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. You can do control X for cut, C for copy, paste, undo is control Z. If you wanted to undo your undo, you could do control Y. That'll be redo. So if you undo something, you say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't really want to undo that. You could redo with control Y. You can use control O to open a document, or control W to close a document. There is just a whole slew of these things. In fact, every single letter of the alphabet has a shortcut key associated with it in Microsoft Word. And if you wanted a copy of this list, just ask me for a copy and I'll give you a hard copy on a piece of paper. One I wanted to point out before I left is this one, control left bracket or control right bracket, and that'll increase and decrease the font. We're going to use these brackets and I'll show you how to use it. Hey, let's get started. Well, here's a little sample document that we can use. Let's say we wanted to bold a word, maybe this word best. I'll click on the word best and I'll do control B. Control B makes things bold. Hey, look at that. You don't even have to highlight things. If you're only going to do one word, for instance volleyball, just do control B and it'll turn that entire word bold. You don't have to highlight the entire word. Let's turn that off. I'll do control B again. And I'll go up here, I'll click on this word, I'll say, you know what, I don't want bold. I'll do control B and it's gone. Let's do underline. Maybe I want to underline these 3 words, and so if you want to do more than one word, you have to highlight the word. And then I'll just do control U, U for underline. Hey, look at that. Looks good. If I can highlight it again, I will undo it with the control U again. I guess I could have if I wanted to. If it's just done, I can do control Z. Control Z is undo. What if I wanted to put that back? I could do control Y. Control Y is redo. Control Z is undo. Control Y is redo. Control Z is undo. So that was pretty easy. What about italics? You can get a word, maybe this one, non-weight bearing. It's pretty long and I want to italicize it. I can do control I for italics. There you go. How can you turn the italics off? Well, you can do control I again. Or you could have done control Z to undo. This paragraph is lined up on the left. Everything on the left hand side is lined up, but the right hand side, this is not lined up. This is all raggedy. Only the left hand side is lined up. I can click in this paragraph and I can do control R, R for right. Well, that looks kind of silly, doesn't it? Nobody types like that. I'm going to go back to left. Control L, L's for left. But I could do this up here. Now every time you press enter, that's a paragraph. So I click in this one and I'm going to do control L, L for left. It moves this entire line because it's a paragraph. What if I highlight 2 lines and I'll do control L, L for left. There you go. It lines up the entire paragraph on the left. I think I'll highlight all 3 of them. Do control E. E means center. Now control C, that is copy. But control E, E is for center. And I can go back to R, control R for right. That looks pretty good to me. if I'm in this document, I can do Control J, and Control J means justify on both sides. Now both the left is lined up and the right is lined up. I'm going to go back to Control L. That's normal everyday typing. I can do Control R, lines things up on the right, but if I wanted to line things up on both sides, I could do Control J. It works only on the paragraph you're on. If you wanted to do multiple paragraphs, you'd have to highlight multiple paragraphs. Let's undo and undo and undo. That looks pretty good. Now let's talk about that hanging indent. Down here in references, you might use a hanging indent. I'll click in the middle of the reference someplace, it doesn't matter where you are, and I'll do Control T. Control T is a hanging indent where the first line is out on the margin and all other lines are pushed in. This is the way references go. I'll click anywhere in this reference, I'll do Control T. I'm going to undo with Control Z and undo with Control Z. Let's highlight them both and we can do Control T all at once. Control T is hanging indent. So you can use a shortcut to control an entire paragraph. You can cut and paste and copy, and let's go look at some of that. Maybe I want to take this paragraph. I'll triple click in this paragraph, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to cut it. Control X is cut. I'll move to a new place right about here, and I'll go do Control V to paste. Hey, look at that. I moved the paragraph up to the top. That was cut and paste. Let's undo and undo. Let's copy and paste. Let's say I'm going to take these words. In fact, let's do this. Let's take this name right here and we're going to copy it with Control C, and it looks like nothing happened. I did Control C, but nothing happened. So I think I'll click down here and I'll do Control V, V for paste. Hey, it's got my name. I copied it. It used to be up here, and now I copied it down here. I'm going to undo that with Control Z. You can make things single space like we saw in the little video before. Control 2 is double space. Control 5 is space and a half. Control 1 is single space. If you do both the paragraphs, you can do both paragraphs at a lot. Ooh, I got a little extra there. I'm going to do just those two paragraphs, and I'm going to do Control 2, double spaced. Let's scroll down and see if it's still there. Oh yes, double spaced. It only does those two paragraphs. Control 5 is space and a half, and Control 1 is single space. Now last thing I want to do is those brackets, control brackets, and what you can do is this. Highlight some text, maybe these, and I'm going to do Control right bracket. Control bracket again, Control bracket again, and look what's happening, look what's happening, look what's happening. It's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Now I'm going to do Control and the left bracket. Smaller, 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 smaller. So you can get it just the way you want it. You think that looks pretty good to me. So those are some of the shortcut keys that we'll be working with, and I hope you learn just one or two of them and use those shortcut keys. It'll make your life a whole lot easier.